Hey, how your voice like that? Why you want to sing? Yeah.
What? They say that to you?
Yeah, it's like your voice like that, you still want to sing? Before I met you, I did a lot of mistakes lah, right? Like undercharging lah, never charge for performance lah. I do for
We have
exposure.
been there before, yeah.
Yeah, I do for exposure.
Yes.
But this person say I'm not good. So let me try to prove them wrong, you know?
Oh
That kind of thing. You want to leave a career, then it's like I scared I lose my job if I go for another job, right?
Yeah. That's brutal.
Right? I mean, not brutal, but in a sense.
That is such golden advice.
Stay tuned to the end for Leon's golden advice and brutal tips for singing enthusiasts or anyone transiting into music as he shares the behind-the-scenes thoughts and feelings with us.
Still struggling with singing? Here's my online academy. Be an early bird VIP and get access to a free module that comes with a mini textbook and tons of video demonstrations that aims to let you know how singing truly feels like. See you on the other side.
Alright, so Leon, thank you for coming onto this channel to do an interview with me.
No problem.
We have seen you on national TV.
Yes.
Mainly 2 national TV so far, which is SPOP and Masterchef.
Yes.
Both very intense programs, so we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But just to give maybe the audience some insight, Leon has been learning singing from me for quite some years.
Since 2018.
Oh wow! Yeah. Oh wow! Before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yes, and I've seen his journey in singing and confidence building, and I thought, wow, he's such a good material for us to talk to, to find out more about how he overcame so many barriers to, mental challenges and all that. I think it's really not easy to get to where you are today. So maybe we can just start off first with some background.
Okay.
Like, for example, let's talk about singing first. When did you discover your passion for singing?
Okay, so for singing, right, it dates quite far back. So I started my first foray into singing, it was when I was 17. That was 2005. So that was the period where we had all the superstar competitions. So I went for Campus Superstar, the first one.
Oh yes, I
I
remember
remember
that.
queuing for 14 hours. Then after that, we go to the counter, they say, oh, today's closed already, and you queue another time and come back another day. But they have a priority queue for us, so I went back. I queued for another 6 hours, then I went on stage. I was so nervous, right? I sang the first line, then ding ding ding, out already. So to me, it's like, oh my god, I was like 17 years old, and that was like my first time going on stage.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
Then since then, I was like, sometimes when people get rejected or they
Yes.
feel the disappointment, they're like, okay, not gonna do this anymore.
Like, not gonna do this forever.
Yeah. But I think I'm a bit of a rebel in that sense, like, okay, let me think of how I can do it better. Right?
Wow, okay.
So that was my attitude towards singing at that point in time. Like, I like to sing, I like to listen to music, but
Yes.
this person said I'm not good. So let me try to prove them wrong, that
Oh,
kind of thing.
okay. You didn't wallow in sorrow and like just...
I got to go back and cry for 1 hour. Then they come back. I mean, like when you're a child and then they're like, great disappointment,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Then after that, I didn't sing for a few years publicly, but I was just like, bathroom singer, go and sing in the toilet because the acoustics very good.
We all know that.
Yeah. So I sang for a while. Then I remember when I was sometime around after army, I was teaching contract relief teaching. So I was a school teacher, but I was a contract teacher. And then some of the kids like music, so we just sang together. Then when I was teaching, so I went through NIE and then I went through my university. So we had a lot of small school competitions. So I just tried. Even if I didn't get in, I will still try.
Just for fun.
Yeah. So some competition I get like maybe 5th place, some get like 2nd place, right? And then this weren't like, I think at that point in time I was already thinking like, I don't want to win. I want to gain an experience. Right? I think that was the mindset I was going in.
Really?
Yeah. At the age, 20 something, I think we're already relatively more mature than like 17, 18 years old. Yeah. So for me, it's like, okay, let me try. If I win, and sometimes you got some cash prize, right? So it's like some extra pocket money.
Yes, true. Yeah.
Yeah, so after going for some stuff, then I remember the one that I won was when I was 24. Going 25 years old.
What was
it was
that?
some CC competition.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went. Then my friend was the organizer. Then they told me, we are not Geylang one. We're not going to help you to win. Then I said, yeah, I don't need you to help me. Like, let's try lah, right? Let's see how it goes. So I went, and then they told me, there's this boy, very handsome, very tall, very good looking, then sing very well. The winner is most likely going to be him.
Your friend said that to you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Then
What
for
friend?
me, it's like, never mind, I'm not here to win, I'm here to just see what I can get out of it.
Experience it, right?
Yes. So when they announced my name, right, I was like, hey, are you sure it's me? You know, that kind of thing.
Because your friend was not the judge.
Yeah. So I walked up and then I was like, oh, that's the first competition I won after maybe like 10 years, you know.
Wow.
Yeah. But it was so much of like wanting to win. I think when I was much younger, I was more competitive. Like when older, it's more of like, hey, this is a good experience to have. I want to have the best human experience in my lifetime, you know, that kind of thing. So that judge who told me that I can sing, right, he said that you have a very melodic voice. Yeah, it's a bit different from some other singers, where they're like the powerhouse kind.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
So when I listen to you, even though you're not very loud, but I still want to sit down and listen to you. So that was he said.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, this sounds like a good idea. So I started to try out like cafes and going for pubs and stuff like that lah. So that was where I started the official singing path.
Oh, let's talk about that. So, you were a MOE teacher
Yes.
in school.
Yes.
So, but you were doing this on the sideline?
Yeah, so
or-
by right, we cannot moonlight lah, right? So a lot of
Yeah.
these or rather these gigs, I mean, before I met you, I did a lot of
Yes.
mistakes lah, right? Like undercharging lah, never charge for performance lah. I do for
We have been
exposure.
there before, yeah.
I do for exposure, you know, that
Yes,
kind of
yes,
thing.
yes.
So I actually have been through that path.
Yes.
So sometimes it's not a conflict of interest because they don't really like. If you don't get paid for it, then it's not really moonlighting, right? You're just experiencing
Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah.
So for me, it's like, yeah, that was how I started lah. So I sang for a few years and I realized that I wanted to get better. That was when I started to find a vocal coach. Yeah. So the first few coaches, I mean, there were nice coaches and there were not so nice coaches lah. So the not so nice ones were like, hey, how come your voice like that? Why do you want to sing? Yeah.
What? They say that to
Yeah,
you?
it's like, your voice like that, you still want to sing? Then after that, I'm like,
But that's the
yeah.
whole point of finding a vocal coach, right? To improve on the vocals, right?
Yeah. Then for me, it's like, okay, never mind. Then when there was one lesson that I had a bit of flu, so my nose was stuck, right? So
Okay.
the nasal sound comes out a bit more. Actually, your sound better when you got sore throat and got flu. Why don't you have sore throat and flu or whatever?
Wow. That's very sarcastic and unprofessional, I would say.
Yeah. So for me, well, that was the very first vocal coach I had. So I was like, okay, then what am I going to do, right? Like, am I going to still pursue this? So I decided to go to some more established academies. Then I went to find. So I had a vocal coach who was very good, but he wasn't Chinese. So he taught me a lot of English songs. But I think at the same time, right, it's also a very new perspective, like from a non-native speaker, when they listen to a Chinese song, right, how they perceive the sounds.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very different thing, English and Mandarin songs.
Yeah, so he taught me English songs for a start, but then I told him like, actually I'm more of a Mando pop singer.
Yeah.
Could you like listen to some of my songs in Chinese? Then he said, okay, why not? Just all music, right? Music, there's no boundaries.
yeah.
So he was very nice to me, and then he taught me like how to sing the Chinese sounds to make it more open. The sounds are better. Yeah. But then he went to sell curry puff after that. He didn't continue teaching me vocals.
That is so random.
Yeah, it's like, so like, okay, so he went to sell his curry puff. So I was like, okay, then that was when I had no teacher, and that was when I met you.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, I see. Yeah. When I first heard you, right, I was like, wow, you sing pretty well already. And I really mean it, you know, because a lot of people, they didn't have the mixed voice when they come to me. Leon didn't have any of such problems. He could sing, you know, he has a fantastic vocal range. I mean, it's just about tweaking some stuff to sing the high notes more powerfully and be more stable, that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. So what do you think? Do you think singing lessons are necessary, like in your journey to success? How important do you think it is? I know it's a biased question because obviously he's my student, but I think it's interesting to know your point of view. You know, for somebody who is for your journey, you know, how important do you think singing lessons are?
I think for me, I mean, from an educator's perspective, because I'm also an educator, right?
Yes, yeah.
So I think what I always tell my students is that when you find a teacher or mentor or coach, right, it's really not so much about whether the person is like superbly good in their skills. I mean, they may not be the best in the industry.
May not be the best singer.
Yeah. In the industry, but being the best doesn't mean you can teach.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So this person is not only someone who needs to have the hard skills, he or she also needs to have the soft skills. Because for me, I think what I gain the most from your lessons is apart from the hard skills, which is the technical, how to improve, how to open the voices and different parts of our body to resonate, right? more of it is also the confidence part. Like, how can you encourage me to pursue certain things? Like, if I came to you and then you tell me like, actually your voice I don't need to sing already. Then I'll be like, oh my god, you're the second person that tells me this. Then I'm like, not gonna do it already.
And it's from a figure of authority,
Oh, yes,
you know.
yes,
Then you
yes.
feel even more like, oh, this person who knows it all tells me I'm not suitable for singing. Like, oh,
Yeah, so for me, I think
That's
the hard
quite-
skills, soft skills,
yeah.
the soft skills mean more to me, like how this person
Right.
interacts with me, how this person guides me along the way. Because I think when I came to you, I think the first question you asked me is like, what do you want to gain from these lessons? I told you not much. I just wanted to improve on this craft and see how far I can go.
I remember you
Yeah.
said that. Yes, you said how far I can go.
Yeah.
And I think in 2018 you didn't realize that you could
Yeah.
have gone on national TV.
Yes, because that time I was still teaching, and then I was like deciding, should I make a career switch to something else?
Right.
And therefore, there was a point where like a vocal coach like yourself who keep on encouraging me. You know, like I was already singing, I was already performing for some places, right? I do like live streams, and then we perform for gigs, go for weddings, and then at the same time, still having lessons, right? And for me, it's like, by coming for lessons is also to reassure that I'm doing the right thing when I'm singing, right? So it's not so much about just the technical skills, but it's also the confidence building, as you mentioned. How can I be more assured that I'm doing the right things when I'm on stage? Because on stage versus training is very different environments. On stage, you are the only one that can save yourself. It's a bit like exam, you know? Yeah. But when you're in vocal training, that's where you can make all the mistakes and then
Yeah.
you come in without any judgment, right? You just like, okay, this one is not so bright. Maybe you can do this to brighten the sound, that kind of
Right,
thing.
right, right.
So it's a lot of awareness about how you are as a performer, as a singer. So that was what I felt helped me the most. Right? Because technical skills, you've gone through so many vocal coaches or you've gone through so many online lessons, you probably know a bit or two already. Yeah, but what makes a vocal coach or a teacher special is their own soft skills and their touch to that
Yeah, and I
approach.
suppose everybody has a different flavor.
Yes.
In that sense. Yeah, and you know, like you have been taught by many teachers and they all feel different to you.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's talk about your transition to music, because I think people are curious about how, for example, some of you may be trying to transit into music, you know, maybe start off part-time. How was it for you, Leon? Because by the time I met you, I think have you quit your job? I can't remember.
No, it was the last year I was in the service. So
yes.
2018 was, I think I came to you somewhere like first quarter or second quarter of the year. But I
Yeah.
left service at the end of the year.
Yes.
Yeah. So at that point in time, okay, pardon me, but I don't hate teaching. It's just that I think at that point in time, I was already 30 years old. And I was thinking, if I don't do this now, right, when am I going to do it? Right? Because I think
it's
at
the
that point in time,
midlife crisis,
when,
like
that time we
now
don't have all those
or
like
never.
we don't have those kind of shows like 乘风破浪的姐姐、披荆斩棘的哥哥
Yeah, yeah.
and we see all these Korean pop stars, right? So they're all very young when they started. And then for me, it's like, I'm already 30, you know? If this lifespan of this career is only until 35, I only got 5 more years. What am I going to do with these 5 years, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, okay, let's try something new lah. So
Okay.
it wasn't so much of like, I hated teaching, and it's not that I don't need the money, I still need to survive, I need to pay
And
bills
teaching
and
is a
everything.
very stable job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I wanted to know more about this side of me. That's why I took the leap of faith to leave the career path. But fortunately or unfortunately, then COVID hit. Right?
Yes.
So then there was a period where a lot of my friends who are also in the music industry, they tell me, oh, I don't have any more gigs dry up already because no one want to engage, cannot do live performances,
Yeah,
things
yeah.
like that. So it's a very tough time for musicians. So it wasn't the right time for me to enter the industry as well, right? So I went back to tuition, which was the next
Right.
best option for a teacher, right?
Yeah,
After
yeah,
leaving
yeah.
service.
Yeah.
So tuition was booming, and then that was how like all the online gigs stopped, all the physical gigs stopped, right? So then I had to do something that I could still get paid for, right?
Yeah, and tuition is always there,
Yes.
right? In a sense.
Yeah, and it still can be done remotely, and there are so many
Yeah.
apps and stuff that can assist the online teaching. So that was a period of time where then Masterchef happened. So it was there were 2 lockdowns, right? So it was in between the 2 lockdowns. They were casting, so I just applied.
Oh, okay. MasterChef, right, was the first national TV program that you participated in.
Yes.
And I think that prepared the ground for the second one,
Yes.
which is SPOP.
Yes.
So what did you learn from these two? Now that, you know, on reflection, what did you learn? Or how did you grow through this program?
I think at the point in time, MasterChef was a bit more of like a accidental surprise, you know. It's not something that I was like, okay, I want to be a next MasterChef, you know. I was like, oh, I got through, so let's see how it goes.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you love to cook, right?
Yeah, I like to cook. I like to
Yeah.
cook for friends, family, right? But it wasn't something like, I give you 1 hour. This is your task today. You know, then
It's very different.
yeah, it's more of like I hope I can cook, I chill, then put the things in the oven, go and watch TV, then go and check the thing again. Yeah, so competition is like competition mode, right?
Right.
So I think the first competition I went in without much expectations. I think that was why generally I was quite chill during the competition. Yeah, because if I were a contestant that was like, okay, I want to be the first, then maybe I might overstress myself, right? So I reflect upon that journey and I put it onto singing. I think when I'm singing, I'm a bit more stressed because singing, right, is like you only have that one take or that 30 seconds to 3 minutes to sing that song, right?
Oh, I mean, for cooking, you can always.
Yeah, cooking we have like 1 hour. Then no,
Yeah,
on
yeah.
cooking shows, right, you cannot be like, oh no, I did something wrong. Then you panic, you know. You were like, because the attention's on you. There's a camera on you.
Right.
So you just like take something, put somewhere else, then continue doing something else. So you just like hi.
Because the cameraman doesn't know what's going on
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. But if you panic, you're like shit. Then like, yeah. Then they're like, what happened? You know. So you have to be a bit more like relaxed and you like fake it till you make it. You know? But singing you cannot. You know, if you like 早下. I mean, I've had opportunities where I perform and it went very well. But there's also opportunities that went the other way. Like you sing the high note, then you suddenly out tune, or
Okay.
pitchy, or like
Yeah.
you suddenly no breath. You know that kind of things.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
And this time at that moment you cannot really do much to save it. Right?
It's more merciless, like just
Yeah.
really one take kind of feeling.
Yeah. So that's how like for Masterchef, like you learn to be more chill, right? When you're on screen, even though you're nervous, just fake it, you know, like just chill out. You know?
The fake it till you make it, right? It's actually a very important skill set to have as a live performer. I would say, would you say you're still a bit nervous during performances now or not at all?
Every time I go to different locations to perform or to different gigs, right? I think the environment plays a very huge part, right? So if it's like a more familiar, actually I'm a bit more weird in a sense like when it's a very familiar setting, right? I get more nervous.
What do you mean by
like
that?
I'm singing in front of friends, I'm singing in front of like people who
Familiar
know me,
people?
familiar people, I'll
Yeah.
get more stressed. But if it's like strangers, then sometimes it's like, yeah, I sing wrongly, you also don't know, right? That's one thing. Then after that, I sing wrongly and I sing badly, you also won't remember me anymore. So just forget it lah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm more daring these days when I'm singing for public. But like closed doors, like, oh no, if this person no, then it will like go and talk about this for a long time.
Oh, yeah. I think we're just too used to perfect performances, especially on TV where everything is auto-tuned actually. So people may not understand, and I find it very important to always highlight this part that live performances, right? If you go to a singer's concert, the singers who do not do auto-tune, you will hear the pitching off. It's for sure, But if it's like whole show where it's the pitching is perfect, you know that they're using auto-tune because it's not humanly possible actually to not have any pitching mistakes or to run out of breath sometimes for a 1-2 hour concert.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
through the SPOP competition, what I gained was that there are certain performances that are not perfect. Like you are pitchy here and there, but
Right.
it's actually where the raw emotions like come out. Yeah. So I think to me, the learning through SPOP is like how to be more emotional and more vulnerable when I'm singing,
Right.
As opposed to being perfect.
Yeah, because there's always like a tug of war kind of thing going on where you want to be emotional, but then you worry about the techniques are not fully on there. But when the techniques are fully on there, you sound like a robot, and the emotions may not come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I think for me, generally, the two competitions were very different, and also the status where I was at was very different. Like the first competition, I'm more of like a nobody going into a competition. The second one is like everyone is famous, more famous than you.
But people
Right.
know you.
But I mean, everyone else in the competition were like veterans in their own industries.
Oh, in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if you're a singer, you've been singing for very long. If you're a performer, actor, like
Yeah.
YouTuber, like all of them have been in the industry for so many years, and I'm like 2 months in at
You're-
that point in time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 2-3 months in. I just signed my contract 2-3 months that time.
Oh, because soon after MasterChef
Then I had the
ended,
contract.
then you went into SPOP.
Yes.
Oh, I see. So SPOP, right? I mean, to let people know, is actually how many months or
At that point in
of
time, it
preparation
was
or program?
it was over 3 months. Yeah, and the competition is a bit different. Like MasterChef is you record everything and then they post produce, right? Then they have to do the edits and everything. But SPOP was more of like, as you're competing, they already broadcasting me the previous episode.
Yes,
Right?
yes, yeah.
So at that point in time, like you read comments, and I'm not from all these negative comments, right? So like Masterchef is like, oh, the thing finished already, you get your result, then you go and see all these comments. Then they say,
Yeah.
never mind, I already got my
Anyway,
second place
so,
already.
yeah, whatever, right?
I already got my prize already.
Yes,
But
yes.
as long as like it's ongoing, and then it actually gets quite hurtful and personal at times, like the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then my mentors like Carrie and Tia, they were like, why you gonna read? Don't read lah.
Yeah, I mean it's easy for people to say don't read, don't take it personally. But when people write hurtful comments about you online, and it's not just for you to read, but for the world to read, I mean it really gets to you. You know, so I always wonder who these people are. And what are they doing with their life, you know? But it's true. I mean, if you think from that perspective, why are they doing this? You know, putting these hurtful comments online, what are they achieving with their life? Because they actually have time to put negative things onto the world. You know, then you realize that maybe I shouldn't take them too seriously anyway, you know. Yeah. So I mean, so we understand what you're talking now, like because week after week you have to deal with the negative comments, and then you have to put yourself on stage again to, you know, you're nervous enough as hell, but you still have to bear the burden of negative comments.
I think the nervousness is also because like, you know, all these, not just the netizens, but like the judges, they are very established in the industry.
Yes.
Got Kit Chan, got Li Wei Song, Li Si Song, and then some of the overseas judges as well,
Yeah.
who sing to millions of people. And then like, wow, for me it's like, these artists have been in the industry for so long, and I grew up listening to their songs, and now they are listening to me sing. Right, so the
when you were
nervousness
on
also.
stage, right, there's a fanboy kind of thing
Yeah,
going
there's
on,
that
and
part
then you're
going
trying to
on.
impress.
Then there's
Yeah.
also the personal expectations, then the performance, and you have all the negative comments. So it's a lot of things going on at the same time,
Yes, yes.
and in 3 minutes, right? Right. Whereas cooking is like, okay, I burn this thing, and I put underneath. I cook another batch.
Right. Yeah. So I was thinking about SPOP, right? Can you share with us how you deal with the kind of pressure? Because I think, you know, it's one thing to have like a one-off competition where you just prepare for it somehow, and then you go on there, sing 3 to 5 minutes, and then that's it.
Yeah.
How do you deal with a 3-month or 2-month kind of program, you know? Like,
I think for me at that point in time, it was also a lot of excitement. Like, I've always been singing like more, maybe amateur to semi-pro, you know, but not like the pro level, whereby national competition, all these people are like the royalty of our local music industry. And I felt that at that point in time I was a bit more liberated, because like finally I know people who know what they're doing. You get what I mean? Whereas like when I'm playing with like
Right.
maybe more amateurish bands or people who just start off, right?
Yeah,
Then they're
yeah.
like, hey, is it the right chord?
so the skill sets are not really
Yeah.
there, but you know, we have to start somewhere.
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Or is it the right chord? Hey, come you enter wrongly? That kind of thing. Or like, hey, 1 bar later. Those kind of things that will happen when you are
Yeah.
doing very amateur people. And like,
Yeah.
okay, then now I'm the most amateur of that group, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's where the room for growth is.
Yeah,
is,
so I
right?
really
Yeah.
appreciated the
Yeah.
time there with all these veterans, because they will share with you all these industry secrets, and also a lot of things like, hey, how do you do, and what can you do in a performance setting to be better, right? And then the repetition of practice is not just doing for the sake of doing. It's like every time we focus on something different, then we try to get a different effect. So it was a lot more growth for me at that point in time. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. I want to take you back, right, to the part about transitioning to music. Because I think you were talking about you used to be an MOE teacher, and then during the pandemic you went to tuition for a while, and then after that, you know, but the thing is that you have been performing it, haven't you? With,
Yes.
like streaming and
Streaming during the years I was teaching, I was also performing for weddings. Like friends were like the reason why I started performing for weddings is because a lot of people are like, I just need a bilingual MC or a Chinese MC, because a lot of people can speak Mandarin these days.
Yeah.
Right? So like you can speak Chinese, right? So just help out with the wedding lah. So
Yeah.
you can sing a few songs and I just sing a few songs, you know?
Oh, wow,
That kind of thing.
okay.
So hey, you're singing not bad. Then the friend of friend will invite you to go. So
That's
that's how it started lah.
amazing. That's amazing, yeah.
So it was like, am I really moonlighting, like 一次一次唱2首歌, that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you're helping friends out, maybe with some ang pao money
Yeah,
or
it's like a
whatever.
token or
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. So it was how it started.
Yeah.
And then more and more people start to ask, right? So it was not like, I want to be a singer, then I want to like show the world I can sing. You know, it's like, oh, I help you, like, I help you, then you help me, then we just help, then you get more and more jobs. Yeah.
Okay, so word of mouth, which is
Yeah.
quite powerful actually. And you start to build your stage performance experiences
Yes.
and So at which point, right, did you start to think like, hey, maybe I can do this professionally, like, or semi-professionally?
I think at that point of 30 years old, when was the year I left, like the year I started taking classes with you. I think also because you gave me the confidence.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in a way, like, I mean, imagine you take you back to the first lesson I had with music,
Yeah.
vocal classes. 你这样要唱歌啊? Then like, then was like, okay, then maybe I'm not cut out for this, you know. But for me, it's like, hey, you're already singing very well. Maybe you should try something performing and stuff. I think you like gave me some direction on how to go into more professional performance. Yeah. So that was like, hey, maybe I can do this for a living. Because I've been earning some money from it, but it wasn't like as much as my main job, you know.
Right.
But then when holidays come, then there are more gigs coming in. Then okay, then it seems like comparable.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
comparable.
Of course, I mean, I don't just do music performance. I got hosting.
Yes,
Then
yes,
I've also
yes.
got at the time I was doing some translation and interpreting work as well. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, now that you reminded me, right, the first time I heard you sing in my class, I was like, wow, he's pretty good already, you know, like, and I was already imagining how you can do this, like, full on. I mean, I didn't say that to you because I didn't want to create something that, you know,
Yeah.
that may not be feasible. I
Yes,
don't know.
yes,
I mean,
yes.
yeah, because, you know, it's just words. Yeah, but I was thinking to myself, wow, actually he's pretty good already, you know, just a bit of polishing. Yeah, so, I mean, now that you reflect, right, on your journey, what kind of advice or tips do you have for people who may be thinking about transitioning into music? Because I think, you know, a lot of us who love to sing may have some grandiose ideas about I want to do this, you know, but they may not be taking the right actions or steps to work towards that. So they may be thinking inside and, you know, just hallucinating. I don't want to say hallucinating, but imagining, you know, but the results don't really come.
Yes.
So what are the concrete steps they should take?
Okay, so I think firstly, finding a vocal coach is not just about the techniques as I mentioned, it's also the soft skills and also the person's network, right? Because the vocal coaches in the industry, they may know people who maybe, oh, I got a friend who needs to sing a demo. You want to sing or not? That kind of thing, right? Or, yeah, I got this gig, I need a sub. You can go and sub or not. So it's all these small pockets of opportunities that start first because you cannot just say, I want to be Celine Dion. I want to have my own concert. On your first lesson, you cannot do that.
I also want to be Celine Dion.
Right? So for me, it's like, yeah, you don't have this grandiose ideas of like, I want to have a personal concert. Of course, it can be a goal,
Yeah.
but it's not like, today I start to learn how to sing, then I want to have concert already. You know, that kind of thing.
I think maybe not concert level, but to the point where you start to get gigs for yourself or sing in a pub or cafe, you know. So for you, first is to have singing lessons, okay?
Singing lessons to improve on your skills and also to know if the teacher or the coach has any networks and opportunities that the person might be able to offer, right? Then secondly, to know more friends because your friends may also be doing their side projects or their passion projects. It's a bit like acting, right? Where if you see a lot of those casting calls, it's like, I want an actor with this amount of experience, but we have no experience how. Or my daughter has a school project, you want to act for me, that kind of thing. Then you start building a portfolio from there. So I think in my days it's something like that. But then nowadays it's a lot easier in the sense that you can start posting things online. A lot of people do their own covers, right? They perform, and then you just let people see what you can do. I think the younger generation has it a bit easier because the tech is there. Then the platforms are there.
It's so accessible
Yes.
these days.
Yeah, so for me, I'm a bit more averse to technology. So I'm
Okay.
like, okay, I'm more old school, right? But the new school is like, okay, let me just post, no matter good or bad, you just post, right? And then someone will pick it up from somewhere. Yeah, so I think this is another concrete steps like to really create content, right? That showcases the best of your skill set. I think for the viewers who are watching this video, I think a lot of times people will ask me, like, how do I juggle so many things at one go? Right?
You do juggle a lot. Why don't you tell people what you're doing now?
Yeah. Okay, so personally, I'm still teaching tuition.
Okay.
Right. But I'm more selective of my students. Right. And then I still do my food-related jobs. I think I found a comfortable space in terms of food advocacy.
Yeah, because you do cooking. You want to tell people what you do with? You have a restaurant.
So I work with an ice cream cafe to come up with recipes, but at the same time I also do a lot of food consultancy for food brands, right? And also with some event organizers to do like food demos or food related events, right? So that was what I do for the culinary side of things, right? And then for music wise, it's a lot of hosting, singing, and then also if people want to find me for demos, I'll do some demos here and there. Yeah.
So, I mean, it seems as if you are the business yourself. I think that's where I want to bring our audience to, to this point? Because you in the past, when you work for a school, there's a schedule,
Yes.
you turn up from 9 to 5, whatever, right? Yeah, but now that you are an entrepreneur, what do you think of yourself as that? Like, how do you think of yourself, and how you can also share with them your schedule, or weight?
Yeah, I
of
think
life?
for me, it's like at this point in time, I'm still like a solopreneur. And I'm also my own product, right?
yes.
At the same time.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of personal branding that's involved. But I think we also have to look at the longevity of every career path. Right? So when I talk to my students,
so important.
because my students will ask me
Yes.
for career advice, and like some kids would like to sing, right? And they'll ask me, Cher, I want to go and learn how to become a singer. And then I don't want to study anymore. Then to me, it's like, okay, maybe as a Singaporean, I will like, this may not be the most practical path, lah, right? But I will say that you can always learn something that's related to singing. For example, production, right? Which is actually
Just to go into music.
yes, a longer longevity for that career pathway. And I will always say, you want to be a singer that can sing only, or you want to be a singer that can also produce, right?
It's not enough these days to just be a singer, by the way. I think that you need to at least be able to play a certain instrument or to do music production. But then if you want to do music production, you need to at least know an instrument.
Yes.
So you see, it's something that is so competitive these days that if you do not up your game, just singing well enough is not quite enough unless you're so unique in your singing style or tone, whatever, right? So yeah, but coming back to you, right? You're juggling with so many things, and you have a very, very clear mind about I wouldn't say expiry date, but what brings
The
you
lifespan of a career,
the
lah.
lifespan, yeah.
So for me, I'm very aware that actually teaching and education career has the longest lifespan. So at that point, I was 30. It's like, do I want to do this for the rest of my life, the next 35 years, until 65 years old? Or do I want to try something else so that I can be a better teacher to my students? And that was the most innate thought at that point in time. Because if I can only teach for the rest of my life, then that's very boring, right? Like, there's nothing else I can do, right? Even though I was already doing a lot of things.
Okay,
Right?
okay.
But at the same time, it's more of like, if I can experience the music industry, I can experience the food industry, I can experience the business industry, and then I come back to education, I'm a more fulfilled person, and I'm also more, I would say, with more horizons and broader in things I can teach.
Yeah.
Especially I'm teaching language. Because languages, the more experiences you have, the more you can share. That's why this is the part where it comes back to the teacher's charm and the teacher's ability to teach. It's not so much of the ability to teach the hard content, but it's also the ability to relate this to the kids. Right?
To use things outside of the language.
Yes.
To make them interested in the language.
Yes, and also to tell them
Yeah.
like, when I read this article, I reflect upon a certain part of my life that I've done this.
Right.
Right? Because a lot of the Chinese articles are like a bit more 感性, more central. They'll think about like reflective stuff and about like certain moral values and stuff like that, right? So if and it also helps with your 作文, right? Your 作文 will be better.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah, so I can guide the students better after experiencing more things. Right? So I only saw this very purely as like, how can I grow myself professionally in other areas in 10 years so that I can become a better teacher. But it kind of like go out of what I expected lah.
Okay, so now that you think back on your life, right? For those people who are still deciding, they're still on the fence, they're thinking about should I do this or not, that kind of stuff. What do you think is the one thing they lack to really just go over the fence?
I think it's the courage. Like a lot of times my friends will tell me like, oh, I scared this will happen, I scared that will happen.
But they will feel that there's a lot to lose, you see.
Yes. But at the same time, right, I was just speaking to a friend 2 days back.
Yeah.
It's like signing up for a competition, right? If I never sign up, I wouldn't even know whether I will get in, right? Same thing if I want to do a career transition, if I never even try, let's say I want to be a cook, right? But I don't even know how to on the stove, I probably won't try that career path, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm practicing at home for a few rounds and then, hey, it seems like something I can do.
You
then-
always get good feedback.
Yes, you slowly try, you dip your feet and your toes into the industry by doing small projects. And these small projects will add up. They will start to give you the confidence to do that, right? So for me, it's something that if you don't even try, you don't even know, right? But you don't just take the leap of faith and jump without doing any prep work before, right? And another friend asked me, I want to join Masterchef, but then I don't know if I should join because I scared I no time. Then my first question is, how do you even know you get through?
That's That's brutal.
Right? I mean, not brutal, but in a sense, like, that's the fact of life. If you don't even get through, why are you thinking of all these other things that...
Oh, your point is just try.
Yes, that's right. Because if you don't even get through, right, you don't
Yeah.
even need to plan your schedule around it, ma.
Right,
It's when
yes.
you get through, then
Yeah.
you plan your schedule around it. Right? So if you want to live a career, then it's like, I scared I lose my job if I go for another job, right?
Yeah.
But you haven't even sent a resume. You don't even know people want you or not.
Oh my goodness.
Right? So just try. If you get that offer,
Yeah.
you have the right and you're in the position to reject.
Right.
Right? But if you don't even try, you won't even know whether you get the offer or not.
That is such golden advice because people tend to overthink.
It's all the what
Over-worry.
ifs,
Yeah,
all the what if. Right? It's the same as when I started performing. It's like, what if I 招虾 in this part? What if this one I cannot sing? What if I forget the lyrics? What if this one? Then it actually makes you more nervous,
Yes.
and it affects your performance as well, right? And you know that if you have to perform right, you have no choice but to go up, right?
Yeah.
And your career path, you can still stay down there and be in your comfort zone,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But then you always have a what if and a regret. And
Yeah, then
whatever.
I always tell my friends, like, you have to think, like, if I think something that affected me the most was, or really rather good advice was, like, if you were to expire tomorrow, what is something you would regret not doing? Right? So I would definitely want to try something out of what I normally do so that I don't regret. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing so much with us. I think we just want to find out, is there any upcoming projects or ongoing new? I think you just launched something new.
When did I launch? Oh, my mom's food. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so for me, right, on the education front, I'm definitely doing more. I think for that pathway, I'm going into more training. So I'm leading a group of tutors, teaching them how to teach, right? So it's a bit more of the training aspect already, adult education. For cooking wise, I'm starting something with my mom. It's a home cooked business.
That's exciting.
Yeah, and it's more of like preserving some of our family recipes, right?
Yeah.
And with that, there's also a social impact that I want to create is to help families to preserve their legacies through food. Because nowadays, there are many younger families who don't cook anymore at home. A lot of things you buy from overseas, buy from outside and everything.
Yeah.
So I think cooking is very intimate. It's a very good way to connect with the family members.
Yeah.
And then for music wise, I'm still performing from time to time. Like if I have any engagements or any invitations, I'll still take up the gigs. And I'm still thinking of whether I want to release my own songs because, I was just sharing earlier on that I don't know if I am good enough to write songs at this point in time. But
okay.
I mean, there's this concern that, this maybe not so confident. But same thing, my advice back to myself, if I don't try, I don't know.
Yeah, and the thing about songwriting is you can write one until you're so satisfied. Right until you find one that you're satisfied with, right? So you can take your time. It's okay.
Yeah, so for me, definitely for music, the area of music, performance has been a while. I mean, been doing performance for a while, but then like the other aspects of that career pathway, right, to explore like music production or even like writing songs, things like that.
Right. But you were also on a China show recently.
Oh yeah, so that show, it was not so much of like a featured artist, but like it was invitation by a friend to join them, and we were sort of like buskers who were on streets, and then they found us, and we were just sharing about how life is like as a performer in Singapore. Yeah.
Right. And there were many views.
Okay, so for that China
Gathered
show,
on
it's like
Douyin,
26 million views or something like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but I mean in different, I would say in different markets, we look at different numbers.
Well, to us Singaporeans, it's a lot. It's a lot already, right? And thank you for singing my song.
No, thank you for saving me because like they say, we need to find original songs. Can you find a friend that has an original song?
And they're so confident you have a friend with an original song
Yeah,
for
I'm
you to
like,
use.
let me go and find.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to end this interview with, by saying that I'm so proud of Leon, and it's such a privilege for me to witness your journey of growth in terms of talents and your self-confidence. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, and it takes so much, to grow to this point, and I feel that once you reach this point, there's nothing stoppable. You know what I mean, right? It's like you just hack the code. You feel like, oh, I've done all these. There's nothing I cannot do, right? Yeah. So anyway, I'll be leaving the social handle for Leon, and you feel free to connect to him if you want to. Yeah. Thank you once again, Leon.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Hey there, want more of such content? Click like and subscribe.